neurohypophysis and its hormones. That is the next part. In the last class we discussed about adenohypophysis and its hormones like GH, TSH, ACTH, FSH, then LH and ICSH, along with that prolactin. Here we will be discussing about neurohypophysis and its hormones. Neurohypophysis is differentiated into three parts. Pars nervosa, that is the neural lobe, then infundibulum or pituitary stalk, and median eminence. These are the three parts of the neurohypophysis. This is median eminence, this is infundibulum or pituitary stalk, and this is the pars nervosa. This is pars nervosa. This part is called as the infundibulum, and median eminence is this region, median eminence. So median eminence is a part of the pituitary gland which also forms the part of the hypothalamus. This portion is called as the median eminence. This is the median eminence. Then infundibulum or pituitary stalk is here. This portion is pituitary stalk. And this part is a pars nervosa. These are the three regions of the neurohypophysis. It's clear. Median eminence is the upper part. This is the median eminence. Median eminence is a part of the pituitary gland which also forms a part of the hypothalamus. Infundibulum is also called as pituitary stalk, and this is the pars nervosa. Like that, three parts are there in the neurohypophysis. At the same time, for adenohypophysis, as we have seen, this is the pars distalis, then pars tuberalis and pars intermedia. Okay, that we have already discussed. The pars nervosa act as storage area for the secretion of hypothalamus. Actually, the hormones of neurohypophysis are secreted by the hypothalamus. The pars nervosa will be storing it. Later on, from there it will be going to the blood and carried to the target organ. It stores and releases oxytocin and vasopressin. Neurohypophysis secretes two hormones. One is called oxytocin and the other one is called vasopressin. Oxytocin stimulates the contraction of uterus. It stimulates the contraction of uterus during parturition. So it is called as a birth hormone. Parturition means delivery. When a mother delivers her baby, the uterine wall has to contract. Contraction of the uterine wall, always contraction of the uterine wall, takes place under the influence of oxytocin. So contraction of uterus and delivery of baby is under the influence of hormone called oxytocin. So oxytocin is called as the birth hormone. It also stimulates the contraction of mammary glands to initiate ejection of or release of milk. So it is called milk ejecting hormone. We have seen that adenohypophysis has secreted a hormone called prolactin. Prolactin is essential for the development of mammary glands and production of milk. But oxytocin is a hormone which is essential for the ejection of milk from the mammary glands. For the normal ejection of milk from mammary gland, oxytocin is required. Here comes the difference. What is the difference between prolactin and oxytocin with respect to mammary glands and its functioning? Prolactin is essential for the production of milk, while oxytocin is essential for the ejection of milk from the mammary glands. Next hormone is called as antidiuretic hormone. Antidiuretic hormone, it is also called as vasopressin. Function of this hormone is already discussed in the 11th standard excretion osmoregulation lesson. You can refer back, but some functions are mentioned here also. It stimulates the reabsorption of water in DCT and collecting ducts of nephrons of kidney. This hormone is essential for the reabsorption of water from primary urine, especially in the region of DCT and collecting tubules of kidney. This hormone is the water retaining hormone. If body loses excess water through the urine, ADH is secreted, and ADH will influence the nephron so that collecting duct and the DCT will be able to reabsorb more and more water from primary urine in order to maintain the balance of water in body fluids. It decreases loss of water by reducing urine quantity. Means if the body is losing more and more water through the urine, the quantity of urine always increases. Because of ADH, the quantity of urine decreases. That means more and more water from primary urine has been reabsorbed by the nephron, and the amount of water that is going to get lost through the urine is reduced. That is why we say that it decreases the quantity of urine. It increases blood pressure by causing vasoconstriction. This hormone is necessary for increasing the blood pressure by vasoconstriction. This is a normal blood capillary, and blood flows a normal blood capillary, and blood flows through the blood capillary. In the presence of ADH, if there is ADH in the blood, the diameter of the blood capillary decreases. It becomes narrow. This process is called as vasoconstriction. So when blood flows from a region of higher diameter to a region of lower diameter, always there is increase in blood pressure. So by vasoconstriction, the blood pressure can increase. So after the action of ADH, these blood capillaries can regain their actual diameter. So this is before the secretion of ADH, after the secretion of ADH, and after the exhaustion of the hormone called as ADH. This process is called as a vasoconstriction. Hence vasoconstriction. So due to vasoconstriction, the blood pressure gets increased. So this is another important role of ADH in human body. ADH is called as antidiuretic hormone. Deficiency of ADH reduces reabsorption and increases urine output. If the amount of ADH produced by the body is less quantity, then the urine output will be more. The body will be keep on losing more and more water. That can cause dehydration of the cells. So that is why the ADH is produced. If the body is losing water, let the nephron reabsorb more water from primary urine and bring it back to the blood. Suppose if the amount of ADH production is deficient continuously for a long period of time, it results in a condition called as diabetes insipidus. The condition is called diabetes insipidus. No glucose is lost in the urine. Excessive micturition causes excessive thirst. This is called polydipsia. Due to diabetes insipidus, the person shows a habit of frequent urination, as a result of that frequent urination, that process is called as micturition. There is frequent urination, so the person is losing water through urine, so he may suffer from excessive thirst, and clinically the condition is called polydipsia. So what is the abnormality of deficiency of ADH called? It is called as diabetes insipidus. What are the symptoms of diabetes insipidus? Frequent urination, voluminous urine, large quantity of urine, and excessive thirst or polydipsia. Okay, with this we complete the neurohypophysis and its functions. Gland is the next important gland which we are going to discuss. The diagram of pineal gland showing corpus callosum, thalamus, hypothalamus, pituitary gland, pineal gland, and brainstem. Brainstem is made up of midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. These three together is called as a brainstem. You can go for this diagram also, in which pineal gland is already labeled. Then we have corpus callosum, pituitary gland, and hypothalamus. This is a very clear diagram. That is, pineal gland is already labeled. Then corpus callosum, then pituitary gland, and hypothalamus. This is the more correct diagram for drawing for examinations. The pineal gland is given off from the roof of diencephalon and is located between the two cerebral hemispheres. Pineal gland is given off from the roof of the diencephalon, that it arises from the epithalamus. As an extension of epithalamus, pineal gland is present. It is not visible from outside because it is within the two lobes of the cerebrum called as cerebral hemispheres. The pineal gland is sensitive to the biochemical signals of light. It is a light sensitive gland. It secretes a hormone called melatonin, also known as sleep hormone. This gland secretes a single hormone called as a main hormone called as a melatonin, and it is also called as sleep hormone. The hormone is a derivative of amino acids derived from amino acid tryptophan. Melatonin plays an important role in the regulation of biological clock, that is 24-hour diurnal rhythm of our body. That is why it is called sleep wake up cycle. Means this gland is sensitive to light, and under dim light or intense light, this will be able to secrete hormone called as melatonin. It helps in maintaining normal rhythm of sleep wake up cycle, also influences body temperature, metabolism, and reproductive cycles. This can regulate sleep wake up cycle. Sleep wake up cycle means when to sleep, when to get up, that it is programmed in our body generally. So that program, the hormone behind that programming is the hormone called as melatonin, secreted by gland called as the pineal gland. And it also influences body temperature, metabolic activities of the body, and reproductive cycles like menstrual cycle in human female, as well as oestrus cycle in non-primate females. That is the pineal gland. A small gland is given off from the roof of the diencephalon or from the epithalamus. It is sensitive to the light, secretes a hormone called as melatonin, which is essential for maintaining biological rhythms, not only in human beings but also in other vertebrates. Okay.